Hello, I'm Pamela Davis. Welcome to episode 195 of the Well Done Life podcast. Hello, and welcome back to episode 195 of the Well Done Life podcast. I'm your host, Pamela Davis. If you are new here, hey, how are you? Welcome. I am so glad that you're here this week. I hope you will stay for a very long time. And if you've been here before, you guys know the deal. I love you deep. Thank you so much for continuing to rock with me. I wouldn't be here without you. Your support means everything. I want you to stay for a very long time as well. And I hope that you'll bring a friend or two or five. But anyway, before we get started with this week's episode, you guys know if you've listened to me before, I'm sure you can recite this with me, but it is really important for me to set the proper foundation because I really feel like what we have here is a very safe space. And so I treat that safe space like I'm building a house, and I want to make sure that my foundation is strong. So I like to make sure that it's built on two very important things, and that is clarity and love. Clarity is really straightforward. I just want to make sure that you understand that the Well Done Life podcast brand is something that I created for women because I believe in the power of us. I believe in the power of women coming together and sharing their stories authentically. And so my hope is that by you hearing my journey, the good, the bad, the ugly of it all, that you will feel inspired to realize that one, there is nothing that you can't make it through. Two, that if you can stand in the vulnerability of your truth, you can inspire someone as well. And three, we all have something to learn from each other. No matter the differences in our background or our situations, lives, we all have something to learn from each other because we've all been through so many different things. And by being able to have space where we share that authentically, I think we give people space. We give each other space to obviously heal, but then at the same time, to be inspired, to realize that it's never too late to go out here and pursue your dreams, that there is nothing that you are facing right now that is going to destroy you. It's just a matter of you deciding, you know what, am I going to run from it or am I going to walk through it? Because you get an opportunity to be connected with women who are walking through it, who've walked it out and survived, and they're thriving. You're going to thrive again as well. So I love being able to spotlight other women here because, again, I don't want you just to think it's just me. Because believe me, I'm not the only person out here who's been through it all or seen a lot. And I haven't been through it all, thank God. I'm very grateful. But I feel like I've been through enough that, yes, I definitely need to be transparent about what I've experienced so that hopefully you can avoid some of the pitfalls that I've made and that you can realize that, you know what, I can do this and I can share my story, that there are people out here who would benefit from my story. And so I want to be strong. I want to stand because there's voice and space for us all. So I hope you will feel loved and supported and valued in this space, that you feel authentically yourself, that you will share your story and inspire someone. And let's make all of this healing and peace grow and multiply because we are truly the foundations of society and we need each other. And then that leads me into my second favorite tenet. And actually, it's one of my favorite things in life because I believe in love. I love love. Yes, I'm a sucker for love. And so to me, it's very important that you understand everything that we do in this space is always going to be rooted in love, one. And that for me to show you love every week is very important that I send you prayers. I really am a strong believer that when two or more come together, our prayers are magnified. And so I like to make sure that every week I started off by sending you prayers. This week, I definitely want to give you prayers of resiliency. You know, the year is going by super quickly. I feel like I have woken up, blinked in August, and we're almost at the end of it. Like 2024 is like, look, I got to hurry up and get the devil on. So I want you to be resilient because with that timing, that means that a lot of things come up very quickly and it doesn't really give us time to maybe process in some instances. It gives us time where we just have to react and you just hope that you're doing the right thing. So I just want you to have my prayers of resiliency. Believe me, I'm praying for resiliency myself because it's been quite a ride. It's been a good one, but it's been quite a ride. And so I want you to be surrounded in resiliency. I want you to understand that no matter what you are facing, you will make it through, that you are more than equipped for what is what's coming to you, that you can handle it, and that all things are working even when they don't feel like they are. So I want you to be surrounded in prayers of resiliency. I also want you to be surrounded in prayers of rest. Yes, resiliency and rest don't always seem like they go together, but they have to. We have to take time to slow down just a little bit. We have to take time to kind of turn into ourselves. We need to give our body and our minds rest. So I hope that you're able to find pockets of rest, whatever that looks like for you. I have had moments where rest looks like literally sitting in a chair for 5 or 6 hours and only getting up to get a drink and get something to eat and sitting my butt right back in that chair. Whatever rest feels like, looks like for you, I hope you get it this week because you need it. I mean, again, there's just so much coming up, and in rest, you are able to process clearly. In rest, you are able to make better decisions. And it does kind of go in line with resiliency because you give yourself the peace and the space to be able to maybe in some instances forgive yourself. You give yourself the peace and the space in some instances to process through decisions that you need to make. And then you also give yourself a rest, an opportunity maybe to release in those moments as well. Maybe you need a good laugh or a good cry. It's okay either way, but just give yourself the space and rest that you need. So far this week, I'm sending you prayers of rest and resiliency. I'm also sending you prayers this week, and I know this is definitely counteractive to what I am saying, but you feel me. Flow with me a little bit. I want you to have the spirit of go getting it. Yes, I know I just said I want you to be resilient. I want you to rest, but I want you also to have the spirit of go getting it. And we're going to talk about that because I feel like in this season that I'm in right now, as I'm preparing for my upcoming event, the Reset, which we'll talk a bit more about in just a moment, I have to kind of dial back into my go get it spirit. And even though I'm still prioritizing rest and resiliency, believe me, I'm also prioritizing go getting it, because sometimes when we are in seasons where we have to do big things, the first thing that we do, or maybe it's just me, is stand still. Because of course, we are focused on the rest and the resiliency, which is, there's nothing wrong with that, but we stand still. And I think we need to all understand that we can still prioritize being resilient. We can still prioritize getting some rest, but we still can prioritize as well going and getting it, because we cannot allow our fears to stop us. We don't need to stand still in every situation. Some situations are just clear and you need to be able to move through them, and you need to allow the resiliency and the rest that you have to make sure that your mind is clear enough to focus and understand that you can still keep moving. Because maybe it's just me, but I know from myself, and which is one of the reasons why I'm in therapy, I have a spirit of standing still. When the fear comes up, when the stress comes up, when things start to just feel like overwhelmingly strong, I stand still. And so I am learning how to process through my emotions and keep going. And so I want you to have the spirit of go getting it. I want you to have the spirit of keep going, because you don't need to stop. You just need to recognize that you are equipped to walk through this path that you're in, that what you need will be there for you. You have everything inside of you that it takes in order for you to get to the other side, that you can still go get it while you're in the season of trying to figure it out. So I really want you to have that spirit of go getting it. It doesn't necessarily mean you got to hustle backward. It doesn't mean that I'm talking about team no sleep. I'm not talking about that, but I'm talking about still having the ability and strength within yourself to say, you know what, I am going through right now. Yes, there is a lot on my plate. I do have fears and I do have doubts, but I'm still going to go get it, because I know that ultimately this is for me. I know that this is my season. This is my time. And if I'm going to honor what has been given to me by God, then I need to go get it. And who am I to pull back when it feels like I'm being shoved to move forward? Because sometimes, you do need a little shove, nudge, little, push, and we get them in subtle ways. Or sometimes it can be an extremely direct, like get your butt out there kind of shove in order for us to go get it. So I want you to recognize that, yes, you may be in the season of where you need to process, where you need to give yourself a little bit more peace. You need to give yourself a little bit more grace, a little more rest, so that you can focus and get everything clear. But you still need to go out here and go get it. So I am praying that you will have that go-getting spirit. Those are my prayers for you this week. Of course, I'm always sending you abundance on all levels, but I wanted to make sure that I focused on those areas because, again, I feel like it's just a season. I mean, maybe it's just me, but I'm in that season where I have to go get it. But I want you to hopefully understand that those prayers are definitely coming from my heart. They are rooted in love. And believe me, I'm speaking to myself just the way that I'm speaking to you. I am recording today on Saturday, August the 10th at 11:10 a.m. Yes, that means that you guys will get this tomorrow and it'll be fresh, hot off the press, which I'm really kind of excited about. I kind of am giving myself some grace as I have been planning and working on things with work and the reset that, if I need to record a little bit later, it's all good because I like to make sure that I come to you with positivity. I like to come to you with a structured word. And I think I've got a structured word. So let's dive in. I want to thank everyone for their support of last week's episode with Brandy Rawls, or Be More Raw. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. She is an amazing light. I really loved talking to her about life, about her self-discovery, about recognizing her grand celebration and writing about it. She is such an amazing motivational speaker and light. And so if you haven't heard that episode, I'm going to link it in the show notes. Also, she's extremely funny. So definitely, if you need a little laugh, a little push, a little motivation, I would definitely recommend it. But this week it's me and I'm rolling solo dolo. Yes, I am here by myself. It feels a little awkward, but I'm glad to be here by myself. Like I said, I kind of needed this moment. And before we kind of dive into this week's episode, because I really do feel like this is about kind of talking about go getting it, I want to take a moment to talk about my upcoming event, The Reset. The Reset is a one-day experience that I have curated for women that's going to be taking place on August the 24th at the Wave Lake Nona Hotel. And during this event, we are going to focus on developing actionable plans in 4 main areas, and that is mental health, physical health, financial health, and building community. The reason I chose these areas is because when I was in a season in my life when things were falling apart, I fell apart in all of those areas. And so to me, I feel like it's very important to create space where as women, we can sit down and we can focus on ourselves. We can be poured into by experts and thought leaders in the area. We can build community so that we can have the resources necessary to create actionable change in our lives in 60 days or less. The mental health panel will actually be kicking off with Yasmin Cheyenne. She is the author of The Sugar Jar as well as Wisdom of the Path. She has been featured on the Today Show. She is a best-selling author. And so I'm very excited about having her as well as so many amazing experts and leaders and thought leaders and influencers from the Orlando area that are committed to sharing resources and insights to help you be able to create the change that you're looking for. We all need moments where we reset. So this is an opportunity to sit down, to be catered to be poured into. There's no gatekeeping here. Some of the experts on the panel are my experts. Yes, I've peppered in a few of my doctors here who are helping me currently or have helped me on the journey. And so I'm very excited about having you connect. And so if you want more information and securing your seat, because there are still tickets available, please go to thewelldonereset.com. I'm going to make sure that I link the website, in the show notes, as well as it's a good place for you to be able to find information about all of these amazing ladies, find out different information about the event. It's going to be awesome. The wave is beautiful. You got great swag, amazing food. Like this is intimate. Like this is, like I said, it's no gatekeeping. This is all about all of us coming together to create actionable changes in our lives and share our experiences. So it'll be panel based. There'll be interactive opportunities. It'll be awesome. So I hope that I get a chance to meet you there. I would love to meet you. And I want to support you on the journey because, child, we are not in this by ourselves. You're not. And I don't want you to feel that way because I have felt that way. And I feel like one of the main things that I have learned along this lesson that I call my life is that I can't do it alone. I keep learning that lesson too, but you can't do this alone. Like you think you can, and you can get, far. But if you really want to see your life elevate, if you really want to see yourself take off, you really need to be able to be in a space to build community. And in order to really be in that space and to be your most authentic self, to get everything that you need out of it, a lot of times we have to deal with other aspects of ourselves, be it mentally, be it physically, be it financial feelings and thoughts that are holding us back from being open with other people in order to build. All of those things need to be addressed. So this is an opportunity to address it because let's all be honest. None of us need to be at the same place in our lives that we are right now anymore. And let me say that again. None of us need to be at the same place in our lives anymore. Like, we all have an opportunity to grow. We are all in a season of trajectory. And so in order for us to continue to elevate in that season, you got to be willing to deal with you, because a lot of times it's not other people, it's you. And so sometimes we need that space. And I hope that this space that I am creating is safe and loving and supportive and encouraging to help you be able to create the change that you need so that you can end this year strong and tee yourself up for 2025. Because as I mentioned earlier, 2024 is going by like a jet. So that means it's time for us to prepare for 2025. And this is such a polarizing time as it is within our country, within the world. We have to be serious about us. It really is. It's time to keep going. It's time to have that go-getting spirit. And so that kind of tees me up to what I wanted to talk about today, because one of the things that I've been doing in preparation for the reset is reset talk. You know, I've been getting a lot of different questions about why I'm doing the event, what have you. And so I thought it would be a great way to kind of get people familiar and also make sure that everybody's getting the same information. And so the first one that I got that I released out on social media, hopefully you guys are seeing all the social media content about it, is why I'm doing it. And I pretty much just explained that because I wanted to create a space where you would be able to tap into resources, because when I was in my season, I didn't have it. But one of the things that I have recognized or started trying to put together in my mind as I'm getting closer to the event is, you know, the lessons that I've learned on this journey. Because I think it's really important to take stock of that now, not waiting until after the event. Because after the event, of course, my event planner and I will do like, a deep dive, a post-mortem, so we can see where things can be better, tighter going into 2025, because this is an inaugural event. I plan on doing this annually. But for me, as a part of my personal growth and development, I really feel like I am in a season where God is really shifting my life. I am changing and growing and evolving in so many different areas of my life. And I'm very excited about it. I'm also deathly afraid. I'm just going to be totally honest. And hopefully those of you who are out here trying to pursue your dreams, I'm sure you can relate, because, you know, they always say if your dreams aren't big enough, they aren't big enough if they don't scare you. My dreams literally frighten me to no avail. They just like totally take my breath away. And that's where I'm at right now, because like even creating this is such a dream of mine to be able to do, because I really do, like I said, believe in the power of women. I get my essence, my juju, as they say, my peace, my purpose. From that, I get my purpose from seeing other people thrive. And so being in this situation where I am putting my heart and my soul and my resources out here, it definitely is a beautiful thing, but it is very nerve-wracking. And so I'm, again, taking stock and trying to see where I'm at in my life and learning all the lessons. And one of the things, like I said, is, you know, you're definitely learning how to have that go-getter spirit while I'm in the middle of working through processing fears and shortcomings and thoughts, because, you know, we all have limiting thoughts, that we have to deal with, because, you know, a lot of times we start to fear the purpose that is on us. We start to fear the things that we are called to do. And that comes up quite a bit, especially as you get closer to executing your purpose. And so one of the things that I kind of wanted to take a moment before we start diving into everything else, as it starts to get even crazier, getting closer to the event, is just kind of sharing with you some of the things that I've learned on this journey. So hopefully this will inspire you, because believe me, what I'm doing is something that you are capable of doing as well. And I always like to make sure that I remind people of that, because we are always looking for other people to do things when we really are capable of doing that thing within ourselves. It's just we're afraid that we don't have enough resources, that we don't have enough time, we don't have enough energy, we're not good enough, you know, all the not enoughs that come up in our head to stop us from being able to go out here and do what you're called to do. We all don't start in the same vein, but we all are capable of doing these things. And so I always want to make sure that I start that, but that, yes, I'm doing this, but you are capable of doing this as well. And we need more of you actually out here doing it, because that just creates many options, many spaces, many places where we as women can get connected and be poured into in the right ways. And obviously I'm not, talking about people being out here to get it for a lick, because let's be honest, there's some of that too. You're not equipped maybe to pour into everybody. Nobody is an expert at this, but you can surround yourselves with experts. You can get out of your way. You can realize that you don't know it all and find people. So that's why I'm going to make sure I add that little tee up, that everybody has the capability of being able to do things like this. It's just recognizing what you're capable of and being smart enough to get the resources you need if you need assistance. And believe me, I'm still working through it. But I always want to make sure I stand on that, because I want us to recognize as women, we are what we are looking for. We are the resources. We are the strength. We are the saving that we are looking for. And we got to go out here and get it. That's why we have to have that go get it spirit, even in the midst of fear. So yes, like kind of teeing it back. Yes, I have to admit I'm processing through fear. And as I mentioned earlier, that is one of the things that I go to therapy about, and my limiting belief, because I feel like I'm in this season of growth, this season of expansion. God is moving through me. And so I have to deal with my limiting thoughts. I have to be willing to go forward, even when it doesn't seem like it's everything I wanted. It might be exactly what I needed. And so I'm learning how to process through. And so I want to make sure that I'm sharing that, because it's important to realize as you're putting these dreams and visions together, you are going to go through seasons like that. And you have to be willing to deal with yourself. You got to be willing to look at those areas within yourself that need to heal. And so as a part of my continued healing, I'm always looking at that. And this event is one of the greatest things that really forces me to look at that, which I'm really loving. I'm discovering, obviously more strengths inside of myself, as well as more opportunity areas where I feel like I can grow. One thing for me is I am at times very shy, and I know I probably don't sound like it, but believe me, I'm behind this camera for a reason. I'm behind this mic for a reason. I like to, get behind the scenes and create magic and then put it out there, and then I'll pop out every once in a while. But I'm learning that still doesn't mean that I can't connect with people even more, visually, presently, and just be supportive and encouraging. And it's been amazing, because I have discovered so many more phenomenal women by getting out there. And so for me, working on my limiting beliefs, working on my shyness has definitely opened me up even more. So I wanted to use that as an example, because I think there are a lot of people who also kind of have that same one. And so I want you to know that you can kind of get through it. You don't have to let it stop you. But essentially, that's the thing. We have to have this go-get-it spirit. And go-getting it is not easy. There are days when it feels overwhelming and tiring. That is why I do prioritize rest, trying to make moments where I can sleep and sit in stillness, not constantly moving, but at the same time, I'm still going forward. I'm not going to let myself stay stuck. And so one thing that I would recommend that you do is that you think about where you are right now as it relates to something that you are trying to accomplish, a personal goal or a professional goal. Do you feel like in your assessment of yourself, if you were to sit down and look at all the things that you have done toward moving in the direction of your goal within 60 days, because I think looking at it year to date is just going to only make you upset, and you don't need to do that. I would say asking yourself, the 60 days, the past 60 days, have you done anything to move you toward you accomplishing that goal? It's really that simple. And if you have not made any movement toward that goal or accomplishing that goal, then ask yourself why. And when you're asking yourself why, don't start letting your mind race. Just literally either speak out or jot down specifically what has prevented you from being able to move forward. And once you have that information, then take a moment, process it, read it, listen to it, really give yourself space to hear it. And then ask yourself, was that a valid reason? And not allowing that question to be rooted in emotion, but literally just be clear, be pragmatic, be a little judgmental. Sometimes we all have those moments where we judge other people for not doing things. Take a moment, I hate to say it, to judge your response, to see if that really is valid. Because a lot of times we make things that aren't valid because we're looking for justification as to why we did not make specific action towards something. Because we let it go. We, just didn't want to do it. And it's okay. But we have to be able to, again, cast that mirror on ourselves, hit that judgment back on us a little bit. Not saying that you want to judge, but really get a little reflective, get really honest. And that can apply really to anything toward any of those categories, any aspect of your life. Because if you think about it, a lot of times, again, we have visions, we have goals, we have specific purposes, and we hold ourselves back. It's not that the world holds us back. It's not that life holds us back. We hold ourselves back. Don't get me wrong. Things do occur, and life is going to do what it does. It lifes. We are all going to face different things, but you will find a way to get through it. But really, are you finding a way to get through it? Are you finding a way to leverage that moment, that shortcome, that short time outcome to delay you from what is your long time purpose? Because it's easy to get caught up in the short stuff. It's easy to allow short-term uncomfort to feel like a long-term outcome, when in actuality it's not. It's just the fact that we are choosing to make decisions that feel permanent and short time situations, when we really need to be focused on the fact that this is just a season that you're in and how you still have to push and go forward. And some people are amazing at it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying all of us struggle. I'm just being honest. I struggle sometimes with it. I'm getting a little bit better, but it definitely has taken me realizing that I have to release control, that I can't have everything on my time and my outcomes. And I think for me, that has really been a very big thing. And I think for a lot of people, that's really what it is. It's just, we get so used to having things a certain way that when a new path forward comes up, it shakes us and we have to just stop, because it's like, I'm not controlling the situation, so I don't want to move. But in actuality, this is the perfect time for you to move and maybe to learn a different path forward that allows you to keep going and working toward your goals. But a lot of times, like I said, we get so caught up in wanting to have control and being able to do things the way that we know how to do things that we delay ourselves moving through situations that are temporary and delay our permanent purpose. And so we have to get to a point where we stop doing that. And I'm hopeful that by coming to the reset, that having this reset, because I'm going to be actively participating just as I'm there facilitating and doing everything myself, that it's an opportunity for all of us to remember that. Because again, it's very easy as we are navigating through life to forget that. And so one of the things that I feel like I'm being reminded of as I am putting this event together is that it is very important for me to recognize that I don't have control over everything anymore, and that it's okay. And everything is going to turn out exactly the way that it is supposed to turn out. And I need to let myself sit in the surrender of it. I need to let God have his way. I can't do God's job. I've come to God. I've prayed to God. God gave me the vision, gave me the purpose, helped me get everything together. I've got to trust it. And it's going to be exactly what it's supposed to be. And that's okay. And it's just going to continue to move forward, to evolve as I put forth the effort and I put forth the understanding and knowledge of what I've been given and how I connect with people and where I decide to take this. And sometimes that's the thing. You get so caught up in seeing what you want and how you want it to go that you lose sight of the fact that, nah, you're not in control. It's really God's time. It's God's purpose. If he's the one who gave it to you, you have to surrender to that purpose and vision. And so you got to sit in it. And you got to be comfortable with where it is. And I'm very excited about it. It's just, again, you want to do all the things within this short flight. And I know that I can't. So I'm very excited about learning about more about surrender and realizing that. And it's so funny because one of my words is about unshakable. And this truly has been a season of reminding myself that I'm unshakable. It is really, if I want to have audacious faith, unshakable faith, that I have to trust. And a lot of times I think that, we feel like we've conquered trust, like we really trust, but you don't really trust. You don't really trust until you are putting together your visions and your goals and putting it out there and trusting it, even though it doesn't feel 100% sometimes the way that you want it to feel. And you have to still move forward anyway. So that is one of the main things I've learned. And I'm just, again, so excited about the reset. I can't help but talk about it. But I want us to remember you have to have that go get it spirit. Don't get caught up anymore in a season where you are standing still. And like I said earlier, make sure that you nurture rest and, resetting so that you can continue to move forward, but really get honest with yourself about what you have done toward your goals, because a goal is only as good as the action that we put behind it. And a lot of times we think that we're putting forth efforts, but when we really check ourselves, we kind of find out that it's like, I'm really not giving it as much energy as I thought I was going to, or as I need to give it, because you get caught in fear. So don't allow your fears to stop you. This is your season and your time. You don't want to miss it because you are not trusting. And then it also is something that I've learned, and I've talked about this before. It's just like, if God gave me that vision and purpose, like I said earlier, who am I to question God? But again, my fears, my limiting thoughts, my concerns, my past traumas, all of the baggage and weight that we all carry are limiting me from moving forward in my purpose. And I need to deal with that. I can't just look at trying to pray it away. I have to deal with it. I've got to face it. And in putting the reset together and through therapy, I have faced that. I am facing my fears. I am facing my limitations. And it is a wonderful feeling. And so if I were to say anything that would help you as you are moving toward your goals and as you are trying to recognize and get clear and honest with yourself, you need to go out here and have a yes moment. You need to have a moment where you say yes to it, even when it doesn't make sense to you. Stop trying to overanalyze everything. You need to say yes. Say yes to the purpose. Say yes to the gift. Say yes to the promise. Say yes to the help. Say yes to the different path. Just say yes, because there is growth, learning, understanding in that yes. And so you got to take a moment to say yes, because that yes could be what leads you to the next level. No, it's a really complete sentence. And if it doesn't feel right all the time, it's what's good. But we all know that sometimes we're saying no to things that we should be saying yes to, and making the decision to say yes to your goal, say yes to the purpose, say yes to the promise, say yes to the help, say yes to the new path can lead you to a better direction. And I have to keep saying it like that because that's really what it is. It's not just a yes to doing something. It's a yes to all those different things behind it, because you are getting presented opportunities and paths, but you are talking yourself out of it because you're afraid. And I want you to stop being afraid. And so that's one of the things that I have been very blessed to learn as I am preparing for this season that I'm in, that it's time to say yes. It's time to say yes. And I've made some really big yeses over the course of this year. And I've just been very, very, very blessed by all of the beautiful outcomes of just saying yes. It wasn't something I initially wanted to say yes to, one thing in particular. And I had some friends, my really good friends, sit down and talk to me about it and why I should do it. And it totally has changed my life. It has brought me so much joy. It has brought me so much peace and so much love. And I'm so grateful because I allowed someone to make me shift, not just leaning into myself, my understanding, my fears, but recognizing that this chance was worth it. And I knew it was worth it. I did. There was always that thought, that love, that understanding there. But I was just like, I didn't want to know. I didn't know if I wanted to take a chance. But it was like recognizing, what do I have to lose? If it doesn't work out, I'll recover. I'll make it through. But if it does, it could be the best thing that's ever happened to me. So again, I'm really saying this to say to you that this is your season to say yes. This is your season to trust. This is your season to have that go-getter spirit. Yes, I want you to prioritize rest. I want you to prioritize peace. I want you to have clarity. I want you to have all of that. But don't allow those things to become an excuse as to why you should not move forward, as to why you should not be accomplishing your goals. Go out there and have that go-getter spirit, because your blessing is on the other side of that peace, that rest, that clarity, that purpose. And you need to say yes to it. You need to understand that you cannot always rely on your thinking, because if your thinking is clouded in limiting behaviors, fears, past hurts, and traumas that you have not dealt with, then are you really making a wise decision, or are you allowing fear and thoughts to limit you from your next level? Because God can present the opportunity to you, but he always gives you the power of free choice. And with the ability to have free choice, you want to make sure that you're going into it as clearly as possible. Don't allow past hurts and limiting beliefs to stop you from moving to your next level. Yep. I don't want that for you. And I want you to have that go-getter spirit. And so I hope that I will get an opportunity to share more with you about go-getting it and limiting spirits, and pour into you in those 4 key areas: mental health, physical health, financial health, and building community at the Reset. But I wanted to kind of at least share a couple of the main things that I have learned on this journey to putting the Reset together, and why I wanted to do this, and what I'm hoping that I will grow from it and you will grow from it as well. So I want to thank you. Yes, it's a shorter episode this week. I just wanted to kind of dive in and share a little bit of my thoughts with you. I am totally consumed by thoughts of the Reset. I've thought about whether or not I'm going to pause in recording, and I'm not 100% sure yet, because I do have some amazing guests that I will be actually interviewing after that I'll be sharing, but kind of leading up to it. So I'm not 100% sure. I'm going to go with whatever the spirit leads me, but I definitely want to thank you for your continued support. I hope, again, I gave you something to think about, because if I did that, then I feel like I did my job and I feel like I'm helping you and helping me. And let's continue to grow and share and learn and go get it together. I hope you have an amazing rest of the weekend. I will have all of my information in the show notes, including information about the Reset as well. Please feel free to ask me questions, because I will be doing a Reset talk all the way up until the event, and then probably maybe a little bit after, because maybe we all need to talk Reset all the time. And so just share them, and you never know, I may use your question as a Reset talk. So I look forward to talking to you again next week. Please take care of yourselves and each other, and we will talk soon. Bye-bye.